So what I want you to talk about with your family for just a second here is, what are the things that you are afraid of? I'm afraid of lots of things, including snakes. And that's the story we just heard, right? We just heard a story about snakes. I hate snakes. I'm sure they're God's creatures and they're beautiful and wonderful, but they're super slimy and creepy, and the way they move just freaks me out. So I don't like snakes. And I'm particularly scared of snakes that can bite you and hurt you, which is what this story is about. Is that the people of God were struck by snakes. They were out in the wilderness. They were already scared. They were scared because they were lonely. They were scared because they were lost. They were scared because they had just come out of a very dangerous and scary place. But they also were scared because they didn't know where they were and where they were going to sleep and what they were going to do next and where they were headed. It was just a really, really scary time. And added to that whole mix of being scared of everything else, all of a sudden there are snakes all over the place. And so as they complained about the snakes, just like they complained about everything else, God told Moses to make a snake out of bronze, out of metal, and to put it on a pole and to raise it up in front of the people. And so then whenever they were bitten by snakes, they could look at this snake on a pole and they would be healed. Which is just kind of a weird and crazy story, but here's what I hear from that story. And that is that when things are super, super scary, when there are things that are making us feel fearful or alone or worried, that sometimes the best thing to do is to just look them straight in the face and say, I don't think you're as powerful as you think you are. Right? That looking at the things that we're afraid of and saying, I know that this is scary, but maybe it's not as scary as I think. Because what the story of this weird story from Numbers tells us is that God is with us in the midst of anything that is scary, right? That when things are scary, when things are fearful, when things are making us stay up at night or want to stay home or be scared about anything, God is with us in that, right? And the story that we're about to hear about Jesus and about what God is doing for the world through Jesus is about God being a part of everything that's scary to us, even death. And being there in the middle of that and saying, you don't have to be afraid of this anymore because I'm with you in this. That God is a part of the world and with us in the dark and scary places. And so we can look at the snakes and we can look at the darkness and we can look at even death, which is one of the biggest and scariest things ever. And know that as powerful as they seem and as scary as they really are, God is bigger and more powerful still. And God is with us in the midst of anything that scares us. And that is really good news. Amen.